Welcome to Compass Points, the weekly podcast for CompassKnox.com. CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more.
Welcome to Compass Points, a podcast about Knoxville and Knox County government, politics, business, education, and just about anything else that grabs our attention. I'm Scott Barker, the editor of Compass, which is a subscription-based news website and newsletter where we report on all these topics and more. And you can find us at CompassKnox.com. We're recording this in the opulent studios of Barbarian Productions, where Lord Seth Barber reigns supreme. Seth, give us the 2 or 3 day old forecast or weather report.
It's going to rain. It's rained all week. It's going to continue to rain, but it's going to be beautiful on Saturday. It was great to see everybody out at Holaroo. I appreciate everybody for stopping in and checking out the fun festivities we had and the perfect weather that came along with it. So hydrate. Everybody was well hydrated, both with or without alcohol, and we had a great time, and it was good to see everybody. Well,
fantastic. Yeah, that's a fun event, and so we hope that we ran a couple of pieces on it this week, and so or last week. So glad everybody had a good time. So we will go into some of the things that we covered in Compass last week. One is this is our pretty much for our friends in West Knoxville. The county's West Satellite office is moving. So we have a little brief piece on that. Good news for everyone in Knox County. Drug deaths in 2024 dropped dramatically, actually. Drug overdose deaths dropped dramatically. We'll talk about that. The bad news for city and county taxpayers is that they're going to be paying a little bit more than previously expected for the stadium's debt service, the new stadium's debt service, and at least for the first year. And we'll go into that and the amount and the why. And also the city council did approve the violence interruption contract. We've talked about that several times. It was contentious. It was exhausting. But we'll go into that in a minute. Then we had the trustee Justin Biggs, who, as regular listeners know, has been kind of under investigation from the state of Tennessee over some extravagant spending in his office. He's reimbursed the county somewhat on that, and we'll talk about that. But first of all, we're going to talk about the city council election candidates. This is an election year. The deadline was Thursday for candidates to get their petitions in. So they did. We have a total of 19 candidates running for 5 open seats. Those seats are all open because of term limits, so there are no incumbents at all. The 5 seats make up a majority of the 9-member city council, so a majority of the members next year will be new, and this is also the first year that we're using the new election process for district races. As people who listen know, state law was changed. Previously, since 1969, for district races, the district voters voted for the top in the primary in their own district and selected the top 2 finishers to go on to the general election. But the general election, voters citywide voted in every district. So you kind of went from being a district-only primary to an at-large general election, though the candidates were district representatives. You can't do that anymore. So this year, beginning this year, the district candidates, the district voters will vote for the top candidates in the primary, and the top two finishers will go on to general election. That could create some weird outcomes. We could have, in fact, we probably will have this year. There's one district with only two candidates, so the primary is basically the first half of a long game, and the others, it's about winnowing the field down to the two strongest candidates. We'll go through them all. Like I said, there were 19 candidates. Wanted to just run through them real quick to get you familiar with them, because we'll be talking about them all through the summer up until the primary in August. In the first district, which is South Knoxville and the UT Fort Sanders area, if you're listening, you don't know exactly where you are, we'll also tell you who your current representative is. Right now, that is the South Knoxville and Fort Sanders UT is represented by Tommy Smith. There are 4 candidates running to replace him. One is Karen Adams. She's the principal and creative director of HA31. That's a marketing, higher education marketing firm. She's also a Knox County planning commissioner. She's running Lindsay Jaremko, who's a program manager for the monitor for the state Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Becky Jones, who's an insurance agent, is also running, and Charles Van Morgan, who now owns a taxi service and used to be a Tennessee Highway Patrol trooper, is an interesting past that we'll talk about more as the campaign unfolds. In District 2, which encompasses West Knoxville, kind of along Kingston Pike between the river and Middlebrook Pike, that's the one where we only have 2 candidates. So the primary, like I said, will be the first half of the game, and then the second half will be the general election. Nathan Huddycutt, who is principal and owner of McCarty Wholesale McCarty, the prominent architecture firm, is running, and he's running against Melody Watts. And if you don't know who Melody Watts is, join the club, because very little information about Melody Watts is out there so far. We'll find out more as the campaign unfolds. But they will be running to represent West Knoxville. Andrew Roberto is the current representative for the 2nd district. The 3rd district, which is represented by Seema Singh, we've got 4 candidates. So that's going to be like the 1st district. We've got 4 candidates. Nick Cipero, his name sounds familiar. That's because he's run for office several times. He's a technology officer, and then he's run for city council twice. He's run for Knox County Commission. He's run for the state senate. He's run for the U.S. House. He runs for office a lot, and he in fact ran and lost to Singh in 2021. So then we've got a name that should be familiar with anyone who has followed politics in Knox County for the past several decades. It's Ivan Harmon. To give you an idea of how long Ivan has been around, he was on the old City of Knoxville Board of Education that was back in the 80s. So then he served I think 3 terms on city council back before they had term limits. And he also served on the Knox County Commission. He is getting back into the fray. He's a little long on the tooth, but Ivan is a savvy politician, and so running against him, and also in addition to Cipro, is a Doug Lloyd, and he's the owner of Lloyd's Electric Service. He's served on the Board of Zoning Appeals, so he's got some a little bit of government experience there. He is running, and also Frank Ramey, who is the owner of an online ammunition sales company and a real estate investor. He is running as well. And the 3rd district, as I said, is represented by Seema Singh. It is Northwest Knoxville. If you go out Western Avenue on either side, you're in the 3rd district. And so it's generally considered the most conservative-leaning district, even though Singh is far from being on the conservative side of city council, which is kind of one of the, we won't go into all the details, kind of one of the reasons that the Republican legislature decided to basically outlaw the way the city used to do the election.
It's the one district that in primaries is the one that kind of has flipped in primaries a little bit, where where a more conservative candidate is winning the primary but then losing the general.
Yeah.
Which, you know, the logic holds that, you know, had it been still districted in the general, we might have had a different candidate.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and that's why Elaine Davis, who's state representative, is the one who pushed through the change in the law, and she represents her district includes the 3rd district, so 3rd city district. So that is it. If you like the new system, think Elaine. If you don't, blame Elaine. That's okay. District 4 is north and northeast Knoxville. It goes basically up the east side of Broadway and up to Fountain City, out to the former Easttown Mall area where Amazon has their new facility. Then down, it swings down from there to Holston Hills. So it's basically a mostly north, some east Knoxville district. Lauren Ryder is the representative for that district. She is, like the others, term limited. And we've got 3 candidates here. It's kind of interesting. One is Matthew, I apologize. I hope to pronounce this correctly. DeBartoleben. DeBartoleben.
Yeah, it's that B at the end that always catches me too.
Yes.
I always want to say DeBartlebane or DeBartlin, but yeah.
Yeah, but he is a commercial real estate broker. He's a curator for the Pechacucha Knoxville, the regular kind of maker get together, entrepreneurial maker get together. He's been a member of the design review board. He's also a board member of Yes Knoxville, which is a sustainable neighborhood advocacy organization. Anyway, this is his first run for office, and he's up against 2 people who've run before. One is Jane George. She's a chiropractor. Body Mind Realign is her business. It is in Rocky Hill, and out near where we are now. Anyway, she has run for the state senate, and last year it ran for the U.S. House against Tim Burchett. Did not win, of course, and she is making a run for city council now. And the other candidate in that 3-person race is Jeff Tallman. Tallman is a mortgage broker. He ran for mayor against Indy Kincannon 2 years ago, and obviously did not succeed there as well. But he's long been a vocal advocate for the Knoxville, in particular, the areas in and around downtown. So those three, that'll be an interesting race because you got two candidates who've run before, one who's a newcomer, and we'll see how that dynamic plays out. Then we have the 6th district, which is in. Yes, I skipped the 5th district, by the way.
Right, you guys take the season off. You don't have to worry about it this year.
Yes.
You're the only people in Knoxville who don't have an election every year now. You get to skip one.
Yes,
enjoy it. Take a vacation.
If you live in the 5th district, which is North Knoxville, west of Broadway, essentially, and over to the edge of Cumberland Estates. If you live there and you've got election fatigue, this is your year because you have the year off.
I feel like a block party or something should be like somebody needs to organize a good block party for the neighborhood. Instead of going to the polls, go to the block party.
There, well, it could happen. It could happen. You have experience putting on block parties.
I can. You can shoot me an email. I'll help you put it together. If we have a nonprofit involved, we can sell alcohol on the street. It'll be great.
There you go. So anyway, the 5th district, which is represented by Charles Thomas. He prefers to know in public, but those of us who've known him a long time call him Charlie. He is the current representative. He will serve the remainder of his term, 2 more years. After that, that'll be 2027. The person who is elected to replace him in 2027 will only serve 2 years, so that the 5th district gets on the same election cycle as the other district races. So while the 5th district will have a vacation this year from elections, it's back to the salt mines after that. And, we've got them every year.
Yeah, that underscores the need for the party. All right, we got to make it happen. The Don't Vote Party in District 5.
All right. Well, then we go to District 6, which is the city's only majority minority district. It runs from Burlington and East Knoxville through downtown to Mechanicsville, West Haven, and over to Marble City. It goes from East Knoxville to West Knoxville. And the current representative is Gwen McKenzie. And as usual, when this seat comes open and there's no incumbent, there are a lot of candidates. When McKenzie first ran 8 years ago, there was something like 12 or 13 who ran she was one of 12 or 13 who ran in the primary and was the top vote getter. And then, of course, won in the general election, citywide general election, and then was reelected 4 years ago. But there are 6 candidates. We thought we were going to have a few more, but there were a couple who didn't turn in their petitions on Thursday. Run them down, and it's very heavy on people who run nonprofits. So we'll start off with, and I've been going in alphabetical order on these, and I'm continuing to do that. Start off with Sam Brown. He is the president of the NAACP, the Knoxville branch, and he's also a minister at Logan Temple AME Zion Church. Brown it's not his first campaign for office. He also ran for state senate one time. Then we'll go to Charles Frazier. He is sales director for WJBE Radio, and he's also run for office twice. He ran for school board and for county commission. Frazier, so he's kind of experienced. Then we have Denzel Grant, who is the executive director of Turn Up Knox, and that Turn Up Knox, you'll hear them when we talk about the violence reduction contract again, or violence interruption contract, because Turn Up Knox was the city's contractor on it, but Grant has decided to run for office there. Then we have Stan Johnson. He is the co-founder and executive director of SEED. SEED is basically an anti-poverty organization. Johnson's very well known, very prominent in circles in East Knoxville. All these people kind of have worked together. Sometime down, along the way, or most of them have. So then we have another person with our name to pronounce. I hope I pronounce it correctly. The George Cat Dad Raudenbush III, and Raudenbush is a missions coordinator for Appalachian Youth Mission. He's never run for office before that I'm aware of, but he has put his hat in the ring to run for this seat. Should be noted, as I said earlier, it's the city's only majority district. There's had an African American representative since 1969. When the district system was put in place, and he is the only white candidate running in this race. And then we have Lawrence Mann Williams. He is also the pastor. He's World United Ministries, and he is the founder of Safe Haven House, which is also in the violence prevention realm. And so we have those 6 candidates running in East Knoxville. Like I said, East Knoxville to Marble City, but it is a very diverse. Not only is it a majority, but it's a very diverse neighborhood as far as socioeconomic background, because you've got a lot of people, who have quite swanky condos downtown, who are members, who are residents in this district, as well as some of the absolute most poverty-stricken neighborhoods in the city. So they are all running. They have a week to decide whether they want to stay in or not. They can always withdraw. It's rare, but it happens.
And there's always the option that they don't withdraw, but then don't really run, but they're still on the ballot because they didn't withdraw. We had that last city cycle. I recall we had one candidate, right?
Yeah, that does happen. There are, these local races, there are people who, for whatever reason, want to put their name on the ballot. Maybe they want to put it on their resume. I don't know. But then they don't do anything. They don't raise money. They don't really try. They don't go out and knock on doors. Their name is on the ballot, and they get a handful of family members who vote for them, and that's about it. So, it's one of those weird things. Local politics is always fun. The more local you get, the more idiosyncratic some of the candidates are.
Word. Very, very nice word. I was thinking different words, but the same idea, yes.
So, and I'm sure that will be the case this year. I don't know quite a few of the candidates. I know some. Like I said, Ivan Harmon's been around forever. I've been covering Ivan Harmon in one form or fashion ever since the late 90s. But then there are others who I don't know. There's some I know by reputation mostly, and there are others that I don't know at all. Like I said previously, talk about 2nd District candidate Melody Watts.
We'll find out.
That's part of being a reporter, is you get to find out all these things. So I'm going to find out who she is, who the other candidates are, and we'll be reporting on them. We always profile the candidates before the primary, and we'll be doing that. We'll be covering any. We'll be trying to cover any candidate forums. One of the interesting things is questions is with the change in format to where we're district only, even in the general election. Are the forums just going to be within a district? So whereas previous elections we might have had one forum they're going to have 5. I don't know. We'll find out.
Personally, I like the idea of having it to where it's the audience, but it's accurate to the audience, and it makes sense that way to do individual districts now with the new format. But at the same time, you have a lot of these forums where attendance by candidates sometimes is a little lacking. And so if you have a district with 4 candidates running and only one shows up, it's not a very exciting forum to watch.
Well, that's true to an extent. One of the things that is also true is city candidates tend to always show up.
True story. Yes, absolutely.
The ones who don't show up, it tends to be forums put on by the League of Women Voters. Republican candidates often stay away from those. I think that there is a belief that the League of Women Voters has a partisan agenda, which I don't see necessarily, but a lot of some Republican candidates do, and they don't show up. So anyway, we'll be covering things whether candidates show up for forums or not.
Exactly.
Early voting for the primary begins August 6th. So look for profiles of these candidates in late June and through July. The primary election day is August 26th. So, and if you want more information, if you want to get information about where you vote, if early voting's held in centralized locations all throughout the city. If you decide to wait till election day and want to know where you're supposed to vote, if you want to know what district you're in, if you want to know all kinds of stuff, how to register to vote if you're not registered, all that, you can go to knoxvotes.org. That's the website of the Knox County Election Commission. You can go there. There's all kinds of information. You want to find out, how much money a candidate's been running. You can find it out there. Or how much money a candidate has been raising. You can find out there. As long as they filed the reports,
right?
So,
which a couple somebodies will file late, as per usual. That's another fun watch that we always like to do during election cycles.
Yeah,
who's filing their paperwork on time? Who's filing it late? It's just part of the process.
And there's really no penalty for filing a couple of days late. So, people know they can get away. And really, the law is set up to not to punish people who don't file on time, but to encourage them to file on time. They want to encourage compliance. So
right, and running a campaign, or if you're running for office, the paperwork is not part of what you really want to do, and so it's understandable that people can screw that up pretty easily. It's a little bit of paperwork that falls off the radar, if you will.
All right. Well, we'll move on from the election to our county scandal du jour, the trustee Justin Biggs, who is under an investigation from the state comptroller's office for some allegedly extravagant expenses related to travel, and this came to public light through some really good reporting from the News Sun. Our friends over there did a great job on that. Knox County conducted an internal audit of Biggs's office. He had, and this is something that we actually reported on, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, that he had the office is leasing 6 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 4-wheel drive trucks. Pretty fancy trucks.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I actually saw one driving around town this past week for the first time.
Yeah,
just on happenstance, and I thought it was like, well, now I know now I know what we're talking about.
That's pretty swank, actually.
And they're not. I mean, they're not. What I thought, what caught me off is that it's like all the other county trucks are white, and these are At least the one I saw was like a deep brown or gray.
Yeah, these trucks are pretty expensive, and Biggs had, when he bought actually they're leasing them, but when the county, his office, trustee's office, decided to lease them, he was saying, well, we want our people out in the field. I don't know about if they go door to door and collect taxes. I don't know. But I mean, I know that there are some people they have to visit from time to time, but they have 6 of these vehicles. When he uses one of them, and he got a little hot water for the use of one of them. He used to go to take a trip to Nashville, even though he has a travel allowance. He used the truck to go to Nashville. He had, I believe, fuel just from the fuel card, or a card there. Well, there's he also stayed in some really nice hotels in Nashville that cost more than the county's limit on overnight travel. But as it was kind of an interesting thing. He's, like I said, he's under investigation. Don't know exactly how much money's involved. The News Sentinel reporting said. Then the audit that was done is still not a public record yet, because it's part of this investigation. So we don't know how much money is involved, the value of these things. The News Sentinel pegged it around a little over $4,000, but we don't know that. Biggs decided to go ahead and reimburse the county, and Chris Caldwell is chief financial officer for the county, checked with the comptroller's office. They won't give him a number because the investigation's not over. So they kind of gave, Biggs kind of came up with an estimate of $3,500. He cut a check to the county for that. It was interesting. He put out a statement stating that, and then promising to give a full account of what went on from his perspective once the investigation is complete. But he said in his statement that he followed all the policies and procedures, and had received approval for these expenditures. Well, it's kind of interesting that he used that term, but because as an independently elected government official, no one can tell him what to do as far as that goes.
I mean, he didn't seek my approval, if that's what he was referencing. He didn't ask me as a voter.
What he was apparently referencing was there is a travel authorization form that elected officials fill out, and they submit to Caldwell, who is the chief financial officer. But Caldwell doesn't have the authority to tell them they can't go. All he has the authority to do is to say whether they have enough money in the budget to cover it or not. Not whether it's appropriate, not whether they should go, but just, do you have the money in the bank? Well, this is a trustee's office. They've got all the money that Knox County has. Of course they have the money. One thing that's kind of interesting there is also that in this statement, Biggs didn't apologize to taxpayers or anything. Of course, I guess that maybe he thought that would be an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
And it says the comptroller's office, frequently investigations do wind up with criminal charges. I don't know if these rise to that level. That's what the investigation is going to determine. But they frequently do. And while I think anybody would agree that if there were overpaid or overpaid for for travel, that reimbursing the county is the right thing to do. it's not going to, it doesn't help him with this investigation if that's what he was thinking. It's kind of like, if they determine that there was wrongdoing, the fact that he's already paid some of it back doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of like getting caught shoplifting and just giving the candy bar back to the store owner. He's still shoplifting, and not saying that this is the equivalent of shoplifting. Don't know what it is yet. Still waiting on the comptroller's office on that. Anyway, he has. Funny, this all broke right after he said he's going to run for re-election next year. So, it quickly prompted Nick McBride, who's the term limited Register of Deeds, to jump in the race against him. So he does have an opponent who's won countywide races, opponent who is in the good graces of the Republican Party as you need to be if you want to get his countywide office right now in today's political climate, and one who's proven he can win elections. So and has had has kept his nose clean. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what the comptroller's office comes up with. There's no time frame on that. Those investigations can take months. The District Attorney General Sharm Allen has already kind of recused herself from this. Not kind of, she has recused herself from this. If there is a criminal and if there are criminal charges, they'll be brought by the prosecutor in Blount County. So,
right, because part of that for her was something about she has her niece works for his office or something like that.
Yeah.
So fair enough. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny how many relatives of officials work for other officials in Knox County, but we've
just a statement of fact. No comment there.
Yes, statement of fact. Yes. Okay. Well, we'll go back. I mentioned earlier that Denzel Grant from Turn Up Knox is a candidate for the 6th district race in City Council, and he's been in the news quite a bit lately because he is the head of Turn Up Knox, and they have had a violence interruption contract with the city of Knoxville, $450,000 a year, and it was terminated. They got crosswise with the city. They changed the way they were being reimbursed. They had to change a lot of paperwork. There were a lot of issues there. There were issues about meeting attendance. There were issues about that the city, the city kind of blamed Turn Up Knox for not doing things. Turn Up Knox blamed the city for not giving enough guidance, and it kind of all came to a head earlier this year. The city terminated that contract, but the Kincannon administration still wanted to have this work done. And they're Turn Up Knox hasn't folded, but obviously the bulk of their budget was this city appropriation, so they've had to cut way back. There are other smaller organizations in this space, but they don't all do the exact same thing. So what the city decided to do was they have a contract with the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reforms, California-based company. The city had brought them in a couple of years ago they did a couple of studies of violence, in particular gun violence in Knoxville. One of the things that they found out in that is the people that are most likely to be involved in gun violence, either as a shooter or a victim, are kind of they're already adults. They're late 20s, early 30s. They've got smaller criminal records. they're already in the life, so to speak, and that's where most were. That's where the cities wanted Turn Up Knox to focus on, and they did. And crime is down. I'm sure it's a combination of KPD and this violence interruption deal, but the murder rate is down, way down. Been a lot of progress in the last 3 years, and the city wanted that to continue. So what they did is they already had this contract with the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, and that what they did is they trained a lot of the people or all of the people at Turn Up Knox and other organizations. This is the model was to have people who have as middle-aged white guys like me say street cred, but people who know what's going on the streets and know what's going on in the city, and take that street knowledge and give them professional training, and so they can be even more effective in intervening and preventing violence in the first place. So the city decided to ask the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, or as everybody who deals with them calls him Nick Jr., since NICJR, so Nick Jr., they wanted them to take over the actual management of the program, do what the Turn Up Knox leadership did, and the idea would be for them to hire a local manager and local people who with lived experience in the streets to be 5 street outreach people. They'd be to intervene where they could in violent situations. Obviously not throw themselves in front of a bullet, but but try to talk to people who have disputes that could bubble up into violent situations, and also people who could be life coaches. So that is the model. The organization is also going to put together an advisory board of locals, because they know they're from out of town, even though they've been working in Knoxville for 3 years. So they're familiar with Knoxville, but they're not from Knoxville. Well, that turns out to be the rub for a lot of people. It struck many people the wrong way that this organization that's based in California would be getting paid. That at first, a lot of people thought they were going to bring people from California or from outside into Knoxville to try to work Knoxville streets. That's not going to happen, but or at least that's not the plan. Excuse me. And then so that prompted a lot. The 2 weeks ago, there was a city council meeting. They decided to defer because there were a lot of people who thought, well, this money should go to these local organizations that are already doing the work. And there was, there's a lot of sense in that, and there's a lot of sentiment that way, especially in a lot of the people in the African American community wanted to make sure that that locals got paid for this. They were very concerned. Then it was deferred for 2 weeks. There was a public meeting last Monday, informational meeting that Councilwoman Gwen McKenzie, who represents the 6th District, as we said, she hosted. A lot of people at that meeting, a lot of people who represented organizations who were in this space spoke. And then we had city council on Tuesday night, and there's more than 2 hours of debate at that. So basically, there were 2 hours 2 weeks ago, a couple hours Monday night at the public information meeting, a couple hours on Tuesday. So we basically had a full day, when you string it all together, a full day of debate over this, and it really boiled down to where the money was going to go initially, and one of the things that kind of came out in a lot of the debate and discussion is while there are several groups that are in this same general area of violence interruption, they do different things and focus on different populations. There's an organization that was started by a former employee of Turn Up Knox called Denounce Renounce, and it's that's an organization. It's kind of a loosely affiliated organization based in Cincinnati, but they focus on youth. And as I said, the Nick Jr. Studies on Knoxville's crime show that it's really not young people who commit violence. It's older folks, but you got to be young first. And so they're trying to Denounce Renounce is trying to kind of cut off the flow of people who might be disposed to grow into more violent behavior later. So that's a little different than what Turn Up Knox had been doing and what Nick Jr. will be doing. But it was a very very long. People had really dug in their heels. There were 3 votes taken Tuesday night. There was 1 vote to motion to deny that put up by Amelia Parker that was rejected. Well, another one for another postponement that was rejected. So finally, the council voted to approve the Nick Jr. contract, and on a 6-3 vote, Charlie Thomas, Amelia Parker, and Seema Singh voted against it. It's one of those few votes that has more than 1 or 2 people in opposition. But so what will happen now is Nick Jr. will begin recruiting people to do this violence interruption work. It could be people who have been working for one of the other organizations. They'll welcome. They said they will welcome just about anybody to apply, and then they're going to be. They've got this contract for 12 months. It is a little unclear exactly what's going to happen after 12 months. The city said that hopefully they will be in a position then to issue a request for proposals, and that there will be local groups to apply for that. My guess is that they're counting on the people hired by Nick Jr. to be able to be in a position to form a separate organization, and they will be able to respond to the RFP. But there could be others. So that's the whole thing about these requests for proposals. They put them out, and anybody can respond. So anyway, there will be a lot of eyes on Nick Jr. over the next 12 months, and a lot of people will be paying attention to the crime rate, and see if this change has a positive or negative impact on that. So, and that's kind of the bottom line. So, the next thing up that we have is the stadium. Of course, we can't go an episode without talking about the Covenant Health Park and the and what's going on there. The big thing turns out this is city and county budget season. In fact, last Tuesday, the difference between the city and the county, the last Monday, the county had a legislative budget hearing that lasted a very short amount of time, only a couple of questions from county commissioners about aspects of the budget. Very short. The city's budget hearing lasted all day from 8:30 in the morning till after 4 o'clock, or from 8 in the morning till after 4 o'clock. So it was pretty long. But anyway, one of the things that had been overlooked, it was brought up briefly, but the city and the county will be paying more toward the debt service on the stadium than they had previously estimated. Now, here, of course, the stadium, as we all know, has a very complex financial package. But one of the things is, and we'll focus in on this, is because this is where the public money comes in. The public money that we're all on the hook for. There's a state grant that doesn't have to be paid back and all that. But the debt service $65 million bond issue, it is to be paid for by the Tennessee or Knoxville Smokies $1 million a year lease, the sales tax revenues from the stadium and the development, and the everything there, concessions, tickets, all that stuff, all the sales tax from that, and the property tax equivalent revenue from the private development that is up on either side of the stadium. There's condo development on the east side of the stadium, apartment development on the west side of the stadium. They have tax incentives, but these a pilot and a tax increment finance deal, but all the revenues from that go to help pay the debt service. Problem is, they're not finished yet. The apartment complex is partially finished. People are living there. They're watching games from their balconies. Right, but there's part of the building that the part of it is it's a 2-building complex. The second building isn't finished. The condo building got off to a late start because they had unforeseen underground water issues. It is still it's getting close, but it's still under construction, and they won't be done in time for the city and the county to realize the revenues from the full revenues from the they were counting on from those properties. So the city and the county they're responsible for the last dollars of the debt service, and the debt service is $4.6 million a year. Now they don't know how much sales tax is going to come in, so it's a moving target. But the city and the county initially thought that they would be paying about $800,000 a year each for the first year, and toward the debt service. And it turns out it's going to be more. The county budgeted $1.1 million. The city budgeted $1 million. So basically, we've got about $500,000 more than anticipated that's budgeted. Now, Chris Caldwell, the chief financial officer for the county, did say that they think that's conservative. They don't, like I said, they don't know how much sales tax revenue is going to be generated, and he's thinking that it could be more robust than previously thought. So it may not be the full $500,000 more, but
right. But you want to pencil it in that way so that if it maxes out, you got money for it.
Yeah.
And if the sales tax, if the sales tax runs higher than expected, you've got a little cushion on the other side. So that's proper budgeted. I'd say it's quite unfortunate because I remember back when we were talking about the stadium, they were talking, the city county may have $600,000 a year each. and it just number keeps creeping up.
Yeah.
For those of us that have been watching.
Well, one of the things too with this, the way that the funding is set up, and this is the plan. Of course, what they say about the best laid plans, but the plan is for as the years progress, sales tax revenues increase, and with reappraisals and all the property tax, or the payment in lieu of tax agreement for the apartment will stay the same. The tax increment financing deal with the condominium project can go up, and the revenues can go up. So between that, increased value of that building and the units within that building, and sales tax revenues that they anticipate increasing every year, they're hoping that by year 10, the city and the county won't have to pay anything, and the stadium generated revenues will cover the cost of the debt. And so, that's the plan. Don't know how close.
Right. Again, the best laid plans, as you said.
Yes, and so that's the plan. I'm sure it's the it's the plan of every pitcher that takes the mound to throw a no hitter. So, and most of those plans don't come to fruition either. So, anyway, the had some really good news on the
health front, the general health of our residents here.
Absolutely,
we've got a notable decline in overdose drug deaths, which is always it's always a good headline to.
Yeah, what was odd was the public officials didn't really celebrate it. They weren't jumping up and down and celebrating, but they, it was dramatic. There was a 36% drop in drug-related overdose deaths between 2023 and 2024.
That's huge.
It is huge. It was went from having 519 Knox Countyans die in 2023 to 334. So it's it was a huge difference. Now you can put it in context, and that the impetus for this was a report, the annual drug death report from the Knox County East Tennessee, or the Knox County Regional Forensic Center, and they put out this report every year, and to put it in context, I went back and looked at some of these things. This is just now getting back down to pre-pandemic levels. During the pandemic, more than 500 people died every year, for a 3-year period, and now we're getting down, under 400, which is, kind of pre-pandemic, but even pre-pandemic was still in the middle of an opioid crisis. So, so that was, in 15 years ago, there were fewer than 100 deaths from drug overdoses. So we still got a long ways to go. If you want to look at that as being normal, before the opioid addiction crisis, really blew up, we still have a long ways to go. And I think that's kind of the reason there wasn't a whole lot of celebrating. They acknowledged it was good, but
it's still more than 300 and some is still more than zero, and that's one of those you want to minimize it as best as possible. So it's hard to celebrate Still losing some, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, you still have 334 people dying.
Right.
I mean, that's not optimum. But it is good that it's trending downward. One of the things is, of course, fentanyl is still kind of the scourge drug, which when I went back and looked at the 2010 report, it was oxycodone. So you're kind of sitting there going, "Oh well, things have changed." But one of the things that is happening a lot, we'll talk about this, is that people are combining drugs. There's a veterinary sedative that's one of the top 5 drugs because it gets cut into opioids when they do that. But one of the things that is happened, the emergence of naloxone, which reverses the effects of an overdose, is when you mix an opioid overdose, but it's only good for opioids. So if you mix fentanyl or heroin with something else that's not an opioid, like methamphetamine or something else, naloxone just isn't as effective. Isn't effective at all. So that that whole thing of mixing these drugs, which in the jargon of the medical examiner's office is called polypharmacy, and but that's a very dangerous phenomenon, and that's something that's still killing a lot of people. So trends are good, and even better is they said, this was a report on 2024 deaths. We're basically one quarter into 2025, but they said the numbers continue to trend down. So that's good news there, and so it sounds like it might be getting better. So, and it's always good to report good news, every now and then. So, even though I don't know how you can say that reporting on overdose deaths is really, really good, but
this is the one way you can.
Less. It is close.
Less is a win every time.
Absolutely. Okay, the other thing we were going to talk about that happened last week was that the county announced that its satellite office in West Knoxville is going to move. This is really just for our listeners in West Knoxville, or the ones who care about that. Those of us who live in North Knoxville, barely knew where the old office was and where the new office is going to be. But for listeners in West Knoxville, the West Satellite office, there's the health department has a clinic there. The clerk's office is there. The trustee's office is there. I don't know why they need those trucks, but they've got a West Knoxville buddy.
That's how you bring it back. That's jargon for bringing it back. Got to bring it back periodically through the episode.
Anyway, the current office is over on Old Cedar Bluff Road. They'll be moving to Corporate Square on Executive Park Drive in mid-May, and they're going to reopen in May 19th. There'll be a few days before May 19th that you won't be able to, that they'll be closed completely during the transition. So, if you need to get your
real ID, your license renewed, your marriage certificate, all those things.
Yeah, the 17th, 18th, 19th.
I will say that old office has one of the worst parking lots maybe in existence. Like all you downtown parkers, you have nothing on this one. This is the weirdest parking lot ever in existence at the old place. So good riddance to that part.
There you go. So anyway,
I can attest.
that'll be open here in a little bit, and we'll that will be hopefully, or at least the county hopes it'll be more convenient for constituents who live out there. That's all we're going to talk about from last week. There was a lot more that happened, but we can't get to it all in a podcast. We do, however, get to all these and in more depth and more topics at CompassKnox.com in both the newsletter and the website. We didn't even talk about the fusion plant that might be coming in to Anderson County. So there's lots of other stuff. You can subscribe at CompassKnox.com and keep track of all these things on a more detailed basis. Now this week, last week we had all those meetings with the city and the county with the budget and the violence reduction contract and all that stuff. This week is going to be a lot lighter. There is an important meeting of the Knox County Commission at 5:00 on Monday. It's their monthly meeting. And if anybody's wondering that this seems a little odd because they usually have the meetings later in the month, they usually do. It's usually the last Friday of the month is the county commission meeting, but we have Memorial Day that is coming up then. So that's they moved everything up a week. But county commission is going to vote on Mayor Jacobs' proposed $1.1 billion budget with $700 million and some change going to the school system. There's no tax increase. It's not really controversial, except for those who might want them to spend more money, even if they have to raise taxes. There are some people out there like that. Not enough to admit, probably not enough to get Sway County Commission to run counter to Jacobs and propose a tax increase. But that's one of Jacobs' long-standing promises not to raise taxes, and he did propose a budget that would do that this year. Anyway, that vote, as I said, 5:00 Monday in the City County Building. So that's it for this week. I want to give my heartfelt appreciation to Lord Seth Barber for his engineering prowess and his perceptive interjections during the show. So that helps me out a lot. Our music is by Will Wright, and we will be back next week with all the things that happen in the coming week here at Compass Points, and we'll talk to you then.
CompassKnox.com is your best source for news and politics in Knoxville and Knox County. If you'd like to learn more about the topics discussed on today's podcast, go to CompassKnox.com and subscribe for in-depth coverage and much more. And many thanks to William Wright for composing our theme song. Compass Points is a partnership of Barking Shark Media and Barbarian Productions, and recorded by Lord Seth A. Barber at Barbarian Studios, Knoxville, Tennessee.